You've been linked with another job at Leeds now. Can you fill us in, since we last saw you, what's happened with Leeds?
Well, I think if I could stay in touch with Leeds as much as I had a short period of time, I'd be only too happy to think about a new or a different position in terms of helping restructure the club from behind, and not on the hotline, the front line, where it should the most. Like you mean, and I think that if that's the case, I would be only too willing to talk to him, because even my short spell, as much and as disappointed it wasn't to get there, it's such a big club and such a great club and such a great bunch of fans, and I'd be only too willing to help restructure in terms of where the club wants to go for it. Probably its short and its long term future, and my feeling is that the need is now, but obviously at the top end, there's a little bit of dispute about the ownership of the club. You know, is it with Andre in the 49ers? The 49ers want to buy it out. Andre's not getting the price he wants by the sound of it, and that causes a lot of confusion when, you know, there really don't need to be any confusion. There need to be a track set out and follow that. But I feel that because Carl and Robbie did so well, that they would be ideal to take over the running of the football side. Carl's huge experience as a manager, and I know the Leeds fans are lucky with Carl Robinson, but down in the lower divisions, he's learnt his trade, he's done his time, he's a great communicator. I know I could leave him at any single time for whatever reason and not be there and know the place would be running the right way. And Robbie, even though I only knew him from Soccer Aid, but with him for the short period of time, brilliant around the players and give a great vibe to everybody. And they know all the staff and they know all the players. So they can hit the ground running, and Leeds need to hit the ground running, which is today, not tomorrow, but today.
Yeah.
And if they choose to go somewhere else, which they might do, probably, if I look at it realistic, more than likely, then, you know, good luck to them. But that will be another transition that I don't think the players need, because they've had 3 transitions, including me, last season, caused a huge amount of different styles, different attitudes, different ways of coaching, different ways of playing. And I think there's a certain amount of confusion amongst the players on, you know, well, that coach wanted this coach wanted that coach wants this. So I think that Carl and Robbie would be ideal to come and get in there and start the process of what needs to be done for next season, because there isn't a lot of time, and Leeds really need to hit the ground running by doing all their business as quick as they possibly can. Who is going to have to leave, what financial implications there are, because we know that's the biggest thing, and what will the team and the squad look like, and obviously with Carl and Robbie understanding not just all the players there, but all the staff. So it's an easy transition and financially very sound, which you have to think of all things when you're going down to the Championship. So that's my ideal, whether Leeds would go that way. I don't know, but certainly if those 2 got there, I'd be happy. If they didn't invite me, fine, fair enough. If they did, I'd be only too happy to help them.
Sam, if you're advising Andre, would you tell him to postpone the sale for a season?
Is Andre the owner?
Yeah. Because they're never going to get a better chance, are they, of getting promotion rather than next season? Next season is the one to hit with the parachute payments, maybe keep their best players, see how many players you're buying into, taking the challenge into the Championship. Would you advise him to stay around for one more year to get a better price? Because obviously if he sells now, he's reducing his price, isn't he, to the 49ers?
He is reducing his price to 49ers, and I have no real knowledge of what both financial positions are, but, you know, what are the financial implications for both parties? And, you know, I think Leeds, we all know, to try and get back up again, they're going to have to lose money next season.
Yeah.
And who can afford to lose that? you know, and which party can both parties come together and say, well, we're probably looking at a loss of this amount.
Yeah.
And can you afford that loss?
Yeah.
And I know the 49ers want to buy it. And I know the 49ers had it bought had I stayed up, which would have been the ideal scenario for me, Henry, and everybody. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But you know, I think if he's looking elsewhere, which, you know, I hear rumours that he wants to buy Sampdoria. I don't know how true that is. Then he's almost choosing that he wants to go somewhere else, you know. But that's obviously for the club itself to get together around the table, and, you know, I hope they can do that as quickly as possible, and whatever happens is sorted out as quickly as you can, because there's nothing worse, Tim, than unsettlement at the board level.
Yeah,
it's really, you know, as a coach or a manager, it's very difficult to do what you want to do and run the club and get the club as successful as you want to be if there's a lot of, you know, disruption up there.
Yeah. Well, the worst thing they can do in my eyes is bringing in a foreign sporting director at this stage, especially to take on. Perhaps you can get away with it in the Premier League. I think it's very difficult in the Championship. You need to know the league you're in. It's two-pronged attack. Get out of the Championship and then survive in the Premier League and then do better than that. And I think Sam would be well equipped to do that.
So they currently don't have a director of football. Did he leave when the last manager, around about the same last time as the last manager, I think it was. So are you in active talks with them about director of football?
Not at the moment. I think that Angus, who's I've known exceptionally well from his West Ham days when we worked together, and, you know, he obviously saw me work there. In all fairness, probably Angus would have wanted me in a lot sooner, and I would have wanted to be a lot sooner. But I think that was the director of football at that time that poo-pooed that situation. So I've known him an awful long time. He's a key element in the whole structure, Angus, of Leeds United. You know, I think that, and I think that going in the right direction and planning out as quickly as you can is what you want to do. And if I'm involved in that, I'd be only too happy to. I think that when I give somebody, I think so people should realise this: if I give somebody the okay, he's not a friend. He is a friend as such, but not. I mean, I worked with him only for a few months at Blackburn Rovers, but I have been in contact with him ever since then and followed his career very, very closely. So I'm not recommending a friend, I'm recommending somebody.
In terms of Carl?
Yeah, and who I think is capable, more than capable, deserves the opportunity. And if you look at his record, it's an outstanding record in terms of where he's been at the football clubs he's been. And I know that people look at that down in the lower divisions, but, you know, we all have to start somewhere and work our way. So I'd have never got to the top if somebody had ignored me down there. Yeah. You know what I mean? But eventually I did. Yeah. And I think Carl deserves a crack. Whether he gets it or not, we'll have to wait and see.
We will. Thank you. So that is the current Leeds situation.
And that's the first time I've spoke to it. Oh, so you've got the exclusive today, because I knew it was our last episode, so everybody's been ringing me, and I've been clicking the phone, like, I mean, so I'm like waiting. I'm thinking, we'll do it together, because we've had a great run this season, haven't we? Like, I mean, since the start of the World Cup. So I'd like to thank everybody that's watched us over the last few months, and we've really enjoyed it. And we'd look forward to seeing them next season, won't we, hopefully?
We do, and thank you for saving that for us then. Is there anything else before we move on? Is there anything else you want to say on the Leeds situation, or anything else around that? Or
I'm not going to wish, whatever happens, I wish them all the very best. I mean, I love that. I mean, a short period of time, I loved the fact, the opportunity. I didn't like my life after the game because we didn't win a game. And as we were talking about before, you don't sit well when you get home, and you don't sleep well that night or the day after, but you just have to go in the next day and pick everybody else up, even though your belly's hanging on the floor. You can't let them see that. You've got to get in there and get them going. But, you know, wonderful club, great supporters, and hopefully we'll only be in the Championship for one season.